today in Rich in Relationship. We're going to talk about
why do men and women look at and experience money so differently? The male money map is going to be more about, am I creating the structure that's necessary to provide for my family? When you have compassion and empathy and understanding for where they are, that's going to de-escalate your reaction. Hello and welcome to another episode of Rich in Relationship, and I'm your host, Rich Heller. We're going to talk today about how money problems affect men and women differently and why it makes fights worse. And the most basic reason why fights could be made worse is, guess what? They look at and experience money differently. Last episode, we talked about money maps. All right. And we just talked about the general concept of money maps, about how people who have different families, cultural experiences, class experiences will have different feelings, groups of emotions, ideas about money, and will relate to it differently. Right. And we know that people from different classes and different cultures can clash about just about anything. Imagine if you're married to someone and they've got a different map about money than you do. Now, add to the mix that they have very different brain structures. Yeah, in case you are new to Rich in Relationship, a big topic here is men are very linear in their thinking, whereas women tend to be more ecological. And actually, let's degenderize that. Masculine thinking is more linear and goal-oriented. Feminine thinking is more ecological. And the reason why we're going to masculine and feminine is we're talking about brains that evolve in testosterone versus brains that evolve in estrogen. And women can have high testosterone and men can have high estrogen. And so it's not just about what you got in your pants. It's not just about who you feel like you are. It's about the chemistry of your body and what it does to the chemistry of your brain. All right, so in a nutshell, the studies show that men have less synaptical connections between their right lobe and their left lobe than women. Or if I'm going to stick with the non-gender approach, brains that evolve in testosterone have less synaptical connection than brains that evolve in estrogen. What that means is that the right and left lobes, which have different functions, communicate more in an estrogen-based body. The result is that brains that have greater synaptical connection between the two lobes, there's a tendency to move from the logical to the creative. Right. And as a result, this moving back and forth and shifting allows for a more holistic understanding of situations, one that is very concerned about all the different aspects involved in a situation, whether it be family. And when I say ecological, I want to be really clear. The ecology is anything that's in your space. It's not just the planet. It's not just trees and flowers. It's people. It's anyone that's in your space. It's a great word. And I'll take that back. Brains that are testosterone-based have less connections between the two lobes, and so they tend to hang out more on one side or the other. They tend to be more linear. When they go through a period of being logical, they're super logical. When they go through a period of being creative, they're super creative, and they just don't flip between those two lobes as easily as an estrogen-based brain does. The result is that testosterone-based brains are more goal-oriented. Now, I want to be really clear. Men and women have masculine and feminine qualities. Men can evolve their feminine side, and women have successfully evolved their masculine side for thousands of years in this male-dominated society that is finally balancing out. And hopefully, now that it's balancing out, brains that evolved in testosterone, which are mostly men, like myself, are finally starting to understand how women think and how to work with the thinking of women and how to incorporate ecological thinking in our own thinking. And what this means in terms of money is that men relate to money very differently than women do. While men tend to, or brains that are testosterone ridden, tend to focus more on structure. They tend to focus more on security, on provision. Women, well, maybe not the same kind of security, like safety is what I really mean. Safety. Estrogen-based brains tend to think more about financial stability and how it's going to impact the family, how it's going to impact their situation if they don't have a family. So let's talk about this a little more deeply. What we know about men, I'm going to just stick with men and women for now, is that speaking in very broad generalizations, all right, men tend to be about provision, they tend to be about protection, they tend to be about power. And what we know from studies is that women are drawn to men who they feel can provide for them emotionally, can provide for them financially, can provide material security for them, can provide safety for them. Right? They're drawn to men of power, whatever that means to them. And we know that men are drawn to women who are attractive, who have a certain kind of body. And the result of this is that as men and women age, there's a myth in our society that men look good no matter what age they are, but women really have to work at staying looking good because when they get to a certain point, they have a harder time attracting men. That's based on these classic concepts of masculine and feminine. How does this impact the way men and women think about money? Speaking in broad brushstrokes, the male money map is going to be more about, am I creating the structure that's necessary to provide for my family? Am I creating the means to protect them? Am I creating the means to serve them in all of my strengths? And the woman mindset around money is going to be more around, is the money being used for the best concerns of the household? Do we have enough? Is it warm enough? Is it cool enough? Is there enough water? Is the water clean? Do we have enough food? Or do we have all the things that we need to keep this household feeling warm, loving, caring, and secure? And again, secure. This is a shared value. So what happens when these two attitudes, these two mind maps converge? It's possible to, if there is a perception that there's not enough, to have fights about going out versus home improvement. It's possible to have fights about what kind of food are we eating, the quality of the food. Should it be organic or do we care? It's possible to have fights about the car that's being driven. Is the car comfortable for the whole family? Is it representative of where we are in the world? These are different mind map concerns. And the big one is vacation. One partner may want to have a really special experience for the whole family. Hey, this year we're going to go to Disney, which is notoriously high investment experience. And, because I want to show that I'm well provided for, we're going to go to Disney and we're going to stay at one of the better Disney resorts. And we're going to make sure that we're not waiting in line. So we're going to pay for that perk, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe we're going to fly first class instead of drive or take the train. And on the other end, the other mindset might be, wait a minute, we don't have the money that, I'm putting away money for our future security. I'm putting away money for our future for college. And if we spend this money now, there won't be that money there for that future. All right, this is a very typical holiday fight, and you may even have experienced it. And you need to get that both perspectives are good, right, and okay. Right? They come from different mind maps, money maps, different contexts about the purpose of money, what money represents, right? For money for one partner represents something very different from the other. Now, add into this that maybe one partner grew up with a lot of money and another partner grew up with less, or maybe both partners grew up with a lot of money, but one partner grew up in a family where they were very frugal and careful with the money, and the other family partner grew up in a family where money was just went out faster than it came in, and there's going to be some similarities and some differences. So what do you do if you're having these kind of stresses, which I'm going to confess to you, even I have gone through? What do you do? The first step is to understand. You listen to podcasts like this that help you understand your money maps, your mindset around money, why it is you think the way that you think, why does they think that the way they think. So instead of getting into a fight, the first thing you want to do is you want to get your partner. And you probably do get your partner, all right? Getting them is not going to fix the problem, but getting them is going to de-escalate your reaction. When you have compassion and empathy and understanding for where they are, that's going to de-escalate your reaction. The next step from there is really up to you. In the previous episode, we talked about an option is to work on your reactions to things. All right, I have this concern. I have this money map that comes from my childhood because I'm a man and I think a certain way about money, and she's a woman and she thinks a certain way about money. I get it. I need to be very careful about when I start feeling my buttons being pushed, or I start feeling triggered, or I'm going from 0 to 60 instead of 0 to 10. There are things that I can do to calm down. By the way, men, it is super important that you remain calmer than your wife. And the reason is that you're physically bigger and you're physically scarier in most cases than your wife. And your wife's reaction to you is, if you're bigger and scarier, is going to be that she doesn't feel safe. And if she doesn't feel safe, then you're not going to get any kind of connection going. And if you don't have a connection going, it means a bigger fight. It means a reduction in intimacy in the long run, and it means growing apart. And actually, we're going to do a whole episode. The next episode we're going to do is going to be all about money and sex and how the two play together or don't. But today, what I'm saying to you is, it's really important, men in particular, that you take your anger someplace else. Women, it will not hurt you also to take your anger someplace else. There's a basic way to manage anger. The first is to get it out of your body. Go to the gym, go for a walk, do something physical. The second is to talk to someone about it, or to pray about it, or to meditate, or all three, really. All right, prayer and meditation will get you out of the part of your brain that's fight, flight, or play dead and get you into the rational part of your brain. Exercise will get the adrenaline out of your body, and talking to another person about it will help you get some perspective and some context. Hey, and if you have questions about this and you want to talk to me about it, you can have a free call with me. Go to richinrelationship.com and schedule a call now. It's a complimentary call, and we'll figure out how you can handle this situation. Back to you. So, the big picture where you really want to be with this, and we talked about this last episode, is on the same page. And the only way to get on the same page is to alter your money map. You may never change your masculine and feminine takes on money, but you can alter your money map so that the needs, your masculine and feminine needs around money, are met. And you can actually embrace, since men do have a feminine side and women do have a masculine side, you can embrace one another's masculinity and femininity and actually get on the same page when you really understand those concerns and embrace them, right? So get that your partner's not crazy. Their concern's not crazy. It may look like they're trying to thwart your concern, but they're not. They're just trying to meet their concern. So if you can get on the same page about those concerns without your childhood stuff getting in the way much, that's going to be so much better. And if you have got childhood stuff that it's getting in the way, give us a call. We can help you with that. All right. So the next episode is going to be all about money and sex and how they don't play together or play together. We're going to do a deep dive on money and sex, We're looking forward to seeing you there. If you're liking what you're hearing, like this episode, subscribe, please. If you subscribe, you'll get notifications on everything that we're presenting here on Rich in Relationship. And recommend us to your friends. We want to grow. This Rich in Relationship is a movement. All right. We want everyone to have joyful marriages that are unbelievably prosperous. All right. And prosperity is not just about money, though we're talking about money today. Prosperity is an abundance of love. Prosperity is an abundance of warmth and caring. Prosperity is an abundance of family that loves one another and supports one another. Rich in Relationship is all about helping you have this joyful, intimate, prosperous marriage. So stay tuned for the next episode of Rich in Relationship on sex and money.